Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Accucare High School Football Preview Show, Ocean County Edition, presented by the Shore Football Report. And today we will be talking Jackson Jaguar football with head football coach in his sixth season, Coach Vin Mistretta. Coach, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Awesome, man. You've been excited, man, all off season. I know it because we've had some private talks. And right now we're getting right down to when we start your sixth season. How fast did it go in the off season, having a first normal off season?
Oh yeah, it flew by. You know, our guys, we promote a lot of multi-sport, athletes. So in the winter we had good numbers in the weight room, but then we wanted guys out competing in other sports. So that spring kind of flew by, even though they were still getting after it on their time. Spring flew by, not being in there every day with all the guys and having to, organize, 70 guys in the weight room. And all of a sudden it was July 6th before we knew it, and we were getting after it.
Well, you know who else has been real excited? This dude right here. I added to the dream team. I don't know if you know this, but Accucare in Brick, Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine is now our sponsor for the Shore Football Report. PM Anthony, the founder and owner of that great business, has been fantastic. Fantastic. Coach, you know as well as I do, you like your athletes healthy, right?
No doubt about it. Get them on the field.
Us coaches, we got the X's and O's. We can do all these things, dissect stuff. But tweaks of injuries and backs, we all call each other up. Hey, you got somebody for a back injury? You got somebody that can help out with maybe his lower back? He might be his hamstring. And you know who I got? I got Accucare. Accucare has state-of-the-art equipment. They are awesome with preventive and recovery and strengthening and educating the kids and the athletes. And those kids love going to Accucare. And we have actually an ally for our football fraternity in Accucare at Brick.
And it's just awesome seeing people support high school football and coverage of high school football. So it's great.
Yeah, we definitely need people like Accucare in our profession because, Coach, you've been there, done it. I'm sure there were Thursday nights and you have a game on Friday and so-and-so's hamstring's a little tight and you wish there was somebody out there that could, maybe a little tweak something. But, thank God she's on our side. Also, who's on our side is the guy with the pen. Scott Stump is back. The mystery hire was presented 2 weeks ago, and it's Scott Stump. And, Coach, I think I created a monster. He is so pumped. Like, good. I'm like, we're talking on the phone for 2 hours the other day, and he wants to jump in the pool in the deep end and let's go. So he's got some.
Great get by you, Coach. Great get.
I thought I had some ideas. He's overlapping me. So that's why I'm tired. I got to appease him. He's hungry, man. He wants to get things out there. And that he's covered short conference football with some great accuracy, and he's very opinionated, but not opinionated person. He's got an opinion. I love it. I love it about him. But he's excited. So your
Good.
guys will have a lot around covering your football, and you have a lot to be excited about this year.
Yeah, it is exciting. I remember, just referring to Stump. When I was playing ball back in the early 2000s, that was the guy. I see you every morning, every Saturday morning. You woke up and you had to see what Scott Stump had to say about
Yeah.
team's performance and the rankings and all the good stuff. So that's awesome to see him back in the mix, and looking forward to it.
Oh, the death threats of picking another team over another team on Thanksgiving. He gave me all the warning signs of stuff like that. It's crazy.
No doubt.
You pick one team over the other, your tires might be getting slashed. I'm a little bit exaggerating, but everybody loves football in the short conference.
Make sure you guys don't pick against Jackson. Let's go.
Big Jackson fan right here. Coach, let's talk about your process, because it's very interesting. You were a player. Now you're a coach. Sixth season. Walk us through from how you got started to where you are right now as the sixth season at Jackson.
Yeah. I'll just talk about my time at Jackson. I've been involved in the program for, pretty much 20 years. In 2001, came in as a freshman to Jackson Memorial High School and played a year of freshman football while Reggie Lawrence was still the head coach here. Then Mike Smith took over the next year and played my entire varsity career under him. It's been awesome to have him as a mentor, continue on. I knew I wanted to be a football coach throughout most of my life. My uncle had just got inducted into the NJFCA Hall of Fame. So he was coaching football up in Middlesex County and all throughout since the 80s. Doing a great job turning programs around, seeing him, and then seeing the way that, Mike Smith ran a program, and then coming on and having Walt Christopic hire me back at Jackson in the early 2010s. There was three really, really big-time dudes who knew what they were doing to learn from. So that's huge. And a lot of guys want to get into this profession. They don't understand, the time and effort it takes. And sometimes, to no fault of their own, they don't have the right guys around them. They don't know how to win. They don't know the process or, the detailed minutia of the entire running a program. So I've been fortunate to have those three guys as big-time mentors. Two of them I'm lucky enough to have on staff this year. So that's cool. That's a nice little culmination. But, I took over in 2017 after a year at Sayreville. I went, left, got a teaching job up in Sayreville. And, Jackson hired me back. Rob Panicue interviewed me. Kevin DiEugenio, who's still our principal, took a shot on me as a really young head football coach. Had some experience as a defensive coordinator, but, minimal. I was 27, maybe 28 years old. And you looked around the short conference, there was not guys, my age out here doing what we're doing. And, we just mentioned off camera that we had a nice streak of, winning seasons and, playoff qualifications. And I was a part of 9 straight years of that. I left for one, and the one, not that I like to, brag too much to these guys around here, but the one year I did leave, we won up to Sayreville as well. So, been around winning, understand what it takes. Won a state championship as a player, lost one as a player, won 3 as a coach, and lost one as a coach. So we've been in the mix. So we're excited to see what this year holds, and excited to see what these Jackson kids have in them.
Coach, got a lot of respect for what you just talked about with consistency, because when I was at Barnegat, my last 12 years, I only had 1 losing record. So 11 out of 12 years, we were very consistent. And I know that's very, very tough to do. And it was a credit to what you guys did, because I always knew what Jackson was doing. Last year was your first losing record since 2012. And we do know you have to overcome injuries and all that stuff, which you had this year. But you had them in the past too. Football goes different ways. That's why it's shaped that way. But it's another, probably knowing you're probably going to start another stretch run of 9-10 years with a lot to prove after one season of didn't agree with your goals, right?
Yeah. And you know what? And we made excuses, and we saw there was one play here or there and a couple injuries that stunk. Some of our big-time players were out.
Yeah.
But it's not about, I'm happy now that I'm sitting here that we had that adversity, because now these guys understand. Nothing is given to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear what we could have been. Our record is what it was.
Yeah.
If you saw our football games, you probably would think that we were in a 3-16. But at the end of the day, you go to Gridiron, New Jersey, or Max Preps or whatever, and what does it say? It says 3-6, staring at you in the face. So don't run from it.
Mm-hmm.
Take that, use it as a chip on your shoulder. That's how I, have run my entire football career, whether player or coach. You got to have a little extra motivation. Use that chip as much as you can. So here we are. We're blessed right now that a lot of those dudes who played last year and lost those tight games, we get a second chance at it with most of those guys coming back. So it's not about last year. It's not about what could have been. It's about now going and doing what's right. And you want to say you're one of the best teams in the shore, go earn it, and everything's in front of you.
I know we were saying last year you were the best 3-6 team out there because the division, the teams that you played, and how close you were, and just at the end with the guys you had missing. I mean, that might be the best thing in the world for you this year to say, "Hey, we were 3-6. We are what we are. Now let's change the record." And I know the kids, the players, are responding to that right now. They want to change it and get right back to where they were prior to last year.
And it's good because maybe through that, and I give our kids a ton of credit. It was the seniors, but it was the rest of those guys going through it as well. It was never a feeling sorry for yourself kind of situation. Right. It was always, let's go to work the next day. And now I've told our guys already throughout the summer, I love the lunch pail mentality, the just every single play, whether it's in a 7-on-7, some teams, you've seen it. Some teams motivate themselves by making a lot of noise, celebrating, hooting and hollering. Mm-hmm. Our guys, we won the Barnegat 7-on-7. I don't think our guys said a word the entire time. We went and competed really well at the short conference 7-on-7, same deal. So I love that kind of personality in a football team. That is, that kind of mirrors what I'm all about. So as long as we're going out there and we're having fun doing it, you don't have to make a lot of noise to show how much fun you're having. Just go, and there's nothing more demoralizing than if you're getting your butt kicked as a football player, and the dude across doesn't say a word, and he just knows he's going to continue to kick your butt play after play. That's pretty tough. So that's what we want to try to be that guy. Great story, Coach.
Loved listening to where you came from and where you are right now. You got a great you got a great program, and you got great kids coming back. Here's my question to you: are you ready to talk Jackson Jaguar football?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Coach. Let me just whip that thing right off. No more masks, no more pods, no more COVID. Let's talk about getting back to normal, which you did this offseason. Those seniors have not worked out for 2 years since their freshman season was done with football. That was the last time they worked out, Coach. Think of that.
Yeah.
As a normal,
as a group, right? Yeah.
Here's what I want. Here's what I want you to explain. Tell us what a normal offseason routine is under your direction.
Absolutely. I mentioned been around this program for about 20 years, with a couple missing years in between. Throughout those 20 years, Jackson has always prided themselves on not only taking ownership in the weight room and making sure everybody's in there, but it's not just about lifting weights. It's about lifting weights together, competing, being on the same program, pushing one another, and getting that camaraderie and that competitiveness in the weight room. And that's what, we really believe in. So when COVID hit and we talked about having, 8 people in a room or 10 people in a room or whatever, a lot of guys started going on their own way and going to Planet Fitness, Retro Fitness, whatever, backyard gym, basement gym. And as a football coach, you're like, all right, just get your lift in, whatever it is. But now finally we're able to preach and explain and have these guys understand how important it is to not just lift, all right, but if we have the opportunity, let's all get in the room together and let's make sure that you understand exactly what you're doing and have the coaches in there watching your form and making sure you're not pushing yourself too fast, too early. So our off season is very strength-based. We love to have athletes come out and try football that haven't done it before because we are never going to make you worse. All right, you're going to come out here, you're going to do speed and agility, you're going to do strength training, you're going to learn the right way to lift. So if you're an 8th grade wrestler, if you're an 8th grade basketball player, baseball player, whatever, come and in the fall, get your feet under you as a high school player and start to learn what it's going to take, because in every single sport, at least, our mentality here in Jackson Athletics, every single sport should be lifted. Male, female, whatever. non-contact, contact doesn't matter. The weight room's going to help you.
Yep.
So we spend a lot of time in the weight room teaching fundamentals to young kids. And then as they prove where they're at, we start ratcheting it up and giving guys personalized lifting programs, things like that. And, we get our football time in as well. But our key thing, especially in July, is using those 4 weeks, understanding the weight room. Older guys are pushing it. You got another, when July 4th hits, you got 6 weeks to get stronger. And then after that, you're maintaining throughout the season. So we're pushing it right now. We're loving it. We got great energy in the weight room. And that's where we're at.
Love that. I love
Yeah.
all athletes should be working out.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball players are doing it now. Baseball players. It's a mindset. It really is.
Yeah, there's that. I don't know where it came from, but the thought process that basketball players don't lift is insane. You got NBA players who are doing full workouts before games, full workouts after games. So the whole "I don't lift on game day" thing is nonsense, and I'm sure you've heard it before. But we're trying to disprove that.
No, you got Michael Jordan that used to work out afterwards because he felt like his body needed that. Get into a routine.
Yeah.
And it's very important. But that's awesome. And you believe in multi-sport athletes, which is great for all the coaches in your school. So
yeah, you got to have camaraderie amongst the staff as well, the teachers, the coaches. You got to be on the same page, and I've always volunteered. If you guys, don't want to put the time in or don't understand or aren't confident in your lifting knowledge, I'll put programs together for your sport. It doesn't matter. Lifting is lifting. So we can do some sport specific stuff, but the reality is, compound movements, find ways to move some weight around and gain some strength, and it's going to improve your athletes.
And you guys definitely did 7-on-7s, which was normal routine for you guys, and you got a chance to compete off your campus without mask, right?
That was nice. So we did a couple of those. I don't like to do too much, being a run-based football team, but we went out, we competed, we did well. So that's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff. So, yeah, let's never ever talk about the COVID again after we shut this show off, right?
I'm good with that.
Coach, let's hear your names of your football coaching staff this year.
Yeah, we have a great mix of guys who have been around the program and been around me for a long time, and some new blood, some guys in some new positions, a guy who's completely new to the program. So, it's a good mix of getting some young blood and some new blood into the coaching ranks while also hopefully learning from guys who've done it before. And hopefully the older guys can learn something from the new guys as well. So we have Keith Anderson, who's returning as our offensive coordinator and our running backs coach. Keith's been with the program since Walt Christopic took over, and I think that was 2011 was their first year. So he's up over 10 years. Our quarterbacks coach is Mike Smith. I mentioned him earlier. Was my head coach from my career 02 to 05, and I think he retired in 2000. Well, 2010 I think was his last year. Took a couple of years off, came back as an assistant. So he's a great mentor and a veteran guy to bounce ideas off of. We have Eric Rado, who's our freshman head coach and also our wide receivers coach. Eric's also a longtime Jag. Him and Mike Smith, grew up together, played together. Eric Rado was my freshman coach when I was playing, so he's been around a long time, been with me for a couple of years, so it's good to have him. Please Red and Black. He's a guidance counselor in our middle school, so he's a great guy to have around the young kids, promoting our program, so that's really good to have. A young guy helping him out is Matt Casanova. He's an alum, played at Monmouth for a few years, did a great job up there, so we have him a couple of days a week, helping out the wide receivers and defensive backs. Then we have Pat Kilmurray, who's been with us for about 5 years now, and he's our offensive line coach. Pat played at Wall under Coach Barnes, who was at Jackson before that. So everybody's kind of under the same umbrella, so it's cool to have that. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Chris Rash and Mike McCarthy as our D-line coaches. Chris has been with the program as long as Keith Anderson when Walt Christopic took over, so I think that 2011 year. He's my right-hand man. I ask him to do a lot of things that most coaches would not do, especially being a veteran guy. But he knows he doesn't have much of a choice, and he's got to do it. So that's all good. And he's also our special teams coordinator. Mike McCarthy helps out. He's a Jag alum, early 90s, played college football at UConn. His son's up there now playing at UConn. So it's good to have Mike in here when he can help out. At the linebacker position, we have Arnell Cozart. Arnell played college football at King's College with a former player of ours, Corey Lavin. So that was the connection there. Corey told Arnell to give me a call when I got the job, and he's been a great addition to the Jackson football family. And we got a new guy, young guy, Sal Giglio, just finished playing ball at Springfield College. He's going to help with the linebackers. Also comes from a football family. So it's exciting to have him on board to see what he can bring to the table. Defensive backs, we got Kenai Glover, who played for us years ago. He's been a volunteer and an assistant for years. Now he's going to take the reins as our D-backs coach. And TJ Tack, who was our former D-backs coach, is going to help out as a volunteer and still be around the program. And then finally, I mentioned earlier, we have Sal Mistretta coming on board, being quality control, getting here when he can. And, it's good to have him. Just got inducted to the NJFCA Hall of Fame. I'm proud to say that. He's proud of it. It's good to have veteran eyes again, just watch what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. He's really here for me. He's got to see, if he sees something he doesn't like or sees something doesn't make sense, he'll let me know, and then I can kind of relay that and change some things. So we got a great staff. Excited about them. They work their butts off. I push them, but we have a good chemistry. We got good relationships, so it's good to have all them.
Coach, you have a lot of consistency with your coaches.
Yeah.
But I was listening to your voice elevate when you had new guys you were bringing into the program. You're excited to include more people into a good program, what you have, right? Tell me how important it is to add a different guy that's not been there for years to your staff that's already been together for a long time.
Yeah, well, you know what? As much as it's good to have new blood for us, this is a guy that wants to get into our profession. And, if we want, obviously you care about the youth and youth sports. I do as well. We have to help young guys that want to get into this profession and help them be successful, learn the right way, and teach them all the do's and don'ts and the, mistakes you can make. And if the guy's passionate about it, we need it because there's no coaches out there right now. It's difficult to find coaches in all sports. It's a lot of time and not a lot of money. And if you're doing it for money, then you're doing it for the wrong things. So you should be here for the kids, first and foremost. So when you got a call from a young guy that wants to be in here and be involved and be included, that's cool to have. And we're excited to have Sal on, and we'll see where it takes us.
All right, Coach, to the left is your 2022 football schedule, and to the right is the newly formed Constitution Division that you and I will talk back and forth about with that briefly. Take us with some of your points about your schedule.
Yeah, listen, at this time of the year, it's tough. We have film on a lot of these teams, and some of them we played last year, so we can try to game plan a little bit based on what we saw. But players change, sometimes schemes change, so it's hard to really form a true opinion. What I can say is week one, it's a standalone game on a Thursday night, first day in September, and it's an old A-South rival. So that excites me. You know what I mean? And we can spend the whole off season looking forward to playing a Brick Memorial team who we like to play. We've had some great battles in the past. Coach Curry does an awesome job with those guys. They have a really dynamic team that I think is going to surprise a lot of people next year. They were similar to us. Maybe their record wasn't what they thought they should be, but a lot of guys coming back. So that's exciting. We have a great matchup. Just excited to see an A-South matchup that, is old school football, in my opinion.
Old school football, Coach.
Smash mouth, old school. That's what we like to do. And then for the rest, Howell, we scrimmage every year. We have a couple guys, the Jackson guys over there helping. Coach Hill was the D-backs coach when I was playing here at Jackson. We won a state title in 2005. So, we have a good relationship, a healthy respect for the boys at Howell. I don't know a lot about Colsnack. I know what I read. I don't think we've ever played them. I've never been played them.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been very successful the past couple of years. So they're going to be a tough team. They're going to also run the football, I think, and do some things. So be big up front. They find linemen every year. So it'll be a tough game. Freehold Borough beat us in a close one last year. They do a lot of things different. And, Coach Ellis is doing a really good job with their program. So that's another one where we have a healthy respect for what they're doing. took one from us last year, and I think we played them in week 1 last year, and that was a really tough game. Tough one to start the season off on, and losing by 1 point. So let's see what happens this year. See if we can get one back. Then we got Jackson Liberty. It's going to be a big game in town. We'd love to have the youth, the AYF teams come out, support Jackson football. Bring it back to when there was one high school and we had 5,000, 6,000 people in the stands. So that's at their place. But it doesn't matter. Jackson is Jackson. We get excited for Jackson kids to play football, and that's always a big one. We take a lot of pride in that. Marlboro is a team that is on the rise. They are doing a great job. They play, similar to us. They're a pro-I style team. They're going to run the football. Their quarterback is tough and dynamic. Played them a couple years, a couple times in the past couple years, and they play us really tough. We snuck one out against them last year that could have gone either way in the last minute. So that's going to be another battle. Donovan Catholic, never played them. They've got what they've got. We'll see. They're going to be pretty good. They've been good in the past. So we're excited to have them in here and come to our place in the jungle and see what happens. And then we end with Freehold Township, another team that does things differently than we see, differently than the rest of the division. They're going to want to throw the ball a little bit. Coach Davies, that's not afraid to air it out and chuck it. So our defensive backs better be up to par. Our defensive line, our pass rush better be ready to go. And that's going to have playoff implications. This is a tough division. We want to get back to the playoffs. That is our goal. So we're focused on week 1 Brick Memorial, and then from there it is what it is. Week by week we dive in, but I don't have a lot of scouting done yet or a lot of information on those teams. We'll evaluate the film in the scrimmages and go from there.
That's a pretty solid schedule. And at the bottom, we're October 14th, you get the multiplier.
Yeah. And listen, Coach, we could say 3-6 all we want last year, but we missed the playoffs because we had Mater Dei on our schedule, and we were one of the few teams in our section who didn't get the multiplier. So
I know.
Does it sound, that's just facts. It's not excuses. It's not anything, but we missed the playoffs by, fractions of a PowerPoint.
I know. And that's the multiplier.
It is what it is. And, maybe we're not talking about losing that streak if we had that. So, Donovan can come in and we're going to give it our all, and we're going to have a hell of a football game. And we're excited about that Shore Conference, Ocean County showcase and matchup. And schools have come here in the past and given us the multiplier, and we've knocked them off. And sometimes, we play a team and run to a buzzsaw and we lose, and we still get our PowerPoint. So, it's a win-win for us. They need it as a test for them as well. We hope that we're going to be a pretty good football team and can kind of sharpen them up, get them ready for playoffs as well. And, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, the Constitution Division, or should I say it's a Freehold School District Division minus you. So everybody there is.
Coach Laporte is probably mad. He got left out. I don't know what happened here. They kicked him out.
Everybody there has one board of education, but very, very competitive. Parity is the word I've used many, many times. Looking at top to bottom, it's hard to pick who would be first, who would be sixth. So a lot of those teams have high expectations going into this season too. Like yourself, very, very competitive division. Agree, Coach?
I do, and I agree. And some teams are gonna, some people look at this division and think, maybe there are some teams that are not traditional powerhouses, but you look at those same teams and their sub-varsities are very good. They've got great coaches. Every team's going to be well coached. Every team's going to be prepared. So it'll be shocking to me if a team just runs through this division. It's going to be a battle every week. We're excited for the challenge and excited for short bus rides.
You can't go wrong with that, right?
No.
Let's hear what you're going to run offensively and defensively.
Yeah, we're traditional. If you've seen us in the past, we're always going to look similar to prior years. We throw wrinkles in every year, but offensively, we're going to be a multiple eye. Move our fullbacks around, move our tight ends around a little bit. We have a dynamic quarterback, so he'll run the ball a little bit for us too. But we're going to run the football. We're Jackson. We're going to run the football. We'll take shots when we need to. We have some great dynamic receivers, so we'll get the ball in their hands. And that's been our blueprint to win football games. Defensively, typically we're a base 4-3. Do some things off of that, send some guys here and there. Typically we are, somewhat aggressive, but really depends game plan week to week.
Very tough. You might say aggressive. I'm going to say tough. You guys smack it hit. So fundamentally sound football team, both offensively, defensively. You keep things very simple, and you let them go. I love
We
that.
strive. That is what we strive to do.
I love it.
So you saying that is nice, but I'll let you be the judge.
All right, Coach. This segment I love because I wanted to put something different into it. I love grouping player position groupings. I like when you just don't have one good player, you have a group of guys that work together to make that unit your force of your offense, defense, or special teams. Did a lot of research on everybody, and I want to talk about you. And please chime in if I'm going the wrong direction or not. You know your team better than I do, but I'm going to attempt to try and impress you to see if I know what I'm talking about. So we're going to go offense, defense, special teams. What the Shore Football Report believes is your strength of your team. You ready?
Sounds
Okay.
good. Let's do it.
A little nervous. Good. All right, good. All right. Offensively, I think your receiver tight ends are your strength of your team. And let me say why before you snap at me. But I think you have 5 juniors. You have a tight end, Sean Hubbard, who is multi-talented. I'm sure you're devising all these ways of getting him the football. And then you have the juniors, Albert D'Alessandro, Jaden Hernandez, Ryan Jagozinski, and Frank Constellano, who I keep hearing about. Jagozinski and Constellano, I keep hearing about him. But and I heard about you in the 7-on-7s, and I got the same reports as what I thought. You're pretty talented on the perimeter offensively.
We are, and I just spent 45 minutes talking about how we're going to run the ball, and we have all these talented guys on the outside. So we're going to use them. We're going to get the ball in their hands. Mm-hmm. They're all juniors, like you said. They're hard workers. They're tough. So it's exciting to have that group all come up together. A couple of them really contributed big time last year for us, and now a couple other ones are going to get the chance this year. So we're excited to have that unit together.
Coach, hold on one second, because we're going to talk about D'Alessandro and Jaden Hernandez a little bit later, but I want to talk about Sean Hubbard. Sean Hubbard, he is an athletic DN and tight end. How athletic is this kid, and can he take a play to the distance at any time at tight end?
He can, absolutely. And football's kind of trending this way. You look, college football in the NFL, these guys have these hybrid tight end guys who are physical. They're going to, be bigger and out-muscle a defensive back. They're going to outrun a linebacker. And that's Sean. I love watching him. He's a basketball player his whole life. And I love watching him play basketball because now, his toughness on the court is second to none. Then he comes out and, tried football as a freshman and just loved it. And dominated in the weight room, done a great job. And now he's earned, our offensive coaching staff has to go in and put some things together for Sean, because he has earned that opportunity. And we've got some things, we're putting some things together for him. We're excited about him, having him in that position. And, the opportunity will be there for him.
I love tight ends. I think that they're the forgotten position by defenses, because you put him in the trenches, and, people think that he's blocking a lot, but he can escape and run routes, and you have athletes around him where you can't just focus on him. So you got to be excited with that. So I was right there. Defensive back wise, I think that's your strength, DBs. And we're going to probably talk about the same names minus Hubbard, but D'Alessandro is a great cover guy. Ty Mann is a very good cover guy, but Jaden Hernandez is a physical guy at safety. And then Ryan Jankowski, and Frankie Constellano will also be playing corner too. But tell me a little bit about Hernandez on how physical he is at the safety position.
Yes, and safeties are, as a head coach, you said you love tight ends. I've always loved coaching safeties, and every year, you hope that you have that guy that fits the mold. And for years since I've been back here, we've always had that one guy who's close to 100 tackles, is a box safety, can still cover, hopefully tough and hard-nosed, and that's Jaden. He's not afraid to mix it up. He works hard in the weight room. Again, that's a key theme for us, but the dude is not afraid to play football. He loves to mix it up. He loves to get in it, and 100's the number that I'm putting out there. If he stays healthy, love to see him get 100 tackles. That is a big accomplishment, in my opinion. And he can open up a lot of eyes at that safety position. So we'll see it. Let's see what happens with him.
Yeah, and then with special teams, let's just bump over those names over. And there's three of them, and one of them will not play kick return, punt return. But you have three guys that have taken it to the distance in their high school career at returners. First, let's get this guy out of the way. Ty Mann, you're not playing kick return or punt return, but you had he got a lot of accolades as a sophomore as a returner. But now let's get him out of the way. You have two, Jaden and Albert D'Alessandro, returners. Tell me a little bit about Albert D'Alessandro, and he is an explosive. And I liked him in the Homedale game when you had him at quarterback, and he ran for over 200 yards. So that guy is going to be somewhere in the positional rankings very high because he's a receiver. He played quarterback, 200 yards, coach, against Homedale, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
It was close to three. It was close to three.
Tell me something. Why are those two so special as returners?
Every time that they have the ball in their hand, they have a chance to take it the distance. And, I think we've talked about this on previous shows, but last year, game one, Freehold Borough, I didn't know what these guys were. We saw what we saw in practice, but you're a sophomore. This is the big time now. And Albert took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown against Freehold Borough. So, right there, okay, here's your welcome party.
Mm-hmm.
And he just continued to get better. Like you said, Ty was out for a game against Homedale. Albert played quarterback, rushed for almost 300 yards, did a great job in there with minimal practice. So that's just the kind of kid he is. Jaden can do the same thing. They are a threat on kick returns, punt returns, whatever. And the really cool part is we have some young guys who may push him as well. And we have some young skill guys who are in there. And maybe we get to the point where, if they're elite returners, then you don't save them. But love to have young guys come through and earn their stripes doing the same thing that these two guys did. Or at least maybe after a long series or a big run, give them a playoff and see if a young guy can get back in there and do it.
I always find it interesting because we had athletes too that people would always kick it away from number 20, number 17. All right. What would happen if you split them up? You put one of them in the front line. Our kicker is going to kick deep now because they're not, but they can score at any time wherever they are on the field. Those three guys you got. Anytime.
Yeah, if you want to pooch kick it and give us the ball on the 35, 40-yard line, that's still a win for us.
Yes,
so,
it is.
You got to pick your poison there, and you want to kick it away from one of them, you got to kick it to the other one. So we're fine with it. And like I said, we got some other guys in the mix that are dangerous and explosive. So, again, not to compliment Coach Rash, our special teams guy, because I don't like to talk him up too much. But he does a great job. He draws some things up. It's never the same return. He puts a lot of film work in there. So, it's good to have him on our side doing that week by week.
I mean, some programs haven't had kick return touchdowns in like 20 years. You have it every 3 games. Like
makes the offense's job a little easier.
All right, Coach. Now we're going to talk about your team this year, your top players, your newcomers. You have 15 starters back, roughly 8 on one side, 7 on the other, offense, defense. You came off a 3-6 season that there were a lot of injuries. COVID, we count as injuries. And now you're back. So you got some guys that you're excited about. We talked about this through the weeks. Let's hear some names.
Yeah. So newcomers, we've mentioned the guys a couple times, but we got Ryan Jagodzinski.
Yeah.
Been really working hard this offseason and fighting for jobs in some new positions. So he's doing a great job. We got Austin Comiri on the offensive line. He's fighting for a starting spot. He could end up earning a starting spot on both sides of the ball in the trenches. Got another guy, Zach Elfashni, who's very similar, another junior who's put on a ton of weight and doing a good job in the weight room, and he's fighting. So those are guys who, were bit players for us. Ryan was our JV MVP last year. The other two guys got, a taste of some varsity football, but we didn't really count on them a whole lot, Now we are. Now they're a big part of our plans and what we're doing. And, some returners. We have, Aiden Sweeney's a big returner coming back. Lucas Stallnecker is a guy both sides of the ball in the trenches who's coming back. So, some of these guys who don't get all the accolades, and we haven't mentioned them a bunch of times, we could talk the same names all day. We've heard how great those other guys are. But those are some other guys. And then we have a guy like Angelo Nicosia, who's our offseason MVP. He is throwing weight around like nobody's business. He looks great. He feels great. And he's going to help us, definitely on the defensive side of the ball. And he's finding a position on the offensive side of the ball as a tight end / H-back. He's a team kid. So wherever we end up putting him, he's going to completely buy into that and continue to help us.
He possibly could be one of the strongest punters out there. You know that, right?
Yeah, and I just forget that all the time as I'm talking about all this other stuff. He is one of the best punters in the short conference.
I don't
So he does a
I don't
great
think
job with
anybody's
that.
going to want to rush him. The ball snapped. You're good.
Yeah,
Just kick it
yeah.
at whenever you want.
I don't know. You don't want to pick a fight with this punter, that's for sure.
Go ahead. And coach, give me a needle in a haystack type of guy. Maybe you said his name before, but I love to, kind of when a coach says, watch out for this guy, because I want to say this guy in a couple weeks is going to be synonymous in every household.
Yeah, well, and you got two ends of the spectrum there. You got a guy like Mike Cipriano, who is returning. He almost had 10 tackles a game last year.
Yeah.
He's a name that played for us, but kind of got overshadowed. We had Tommy Wadowski, was a preseason all shore guy who went down early, and Cipriano came in and helped, and really did a good job for us.
Mm-hmm.
You got young guys who hopefully can earn a starting job. A guy like Harold Mee, who is again bought into what we're doing in the off season. He understood what it took, and now his body is ready. So he's gonna have to prove he can play varsity football, but the opportunity is there in front of him. We got a guy, another senior, Tyler DeMonico, who's in the mix as a nickel or an outside backer. Who dealt with injuries his whole career. Now he's finally getting healthy. So we got guys all over. Brandon Bigelow, who is a tough-nosed fullback linebacker type.
You need more of those kids. He's good.
And most guys go into the gym and they want to do their biceps and their lat pull downs and stuff like this. Brandon, do not cut his squat workout short. That dude has two legs like fire hydrants, and he wants to squat. So
I love it.
There's a lot of guys, and we're excited about all of them. And most of these guys got a taste last year. There's not a lot of guys who are coming in with no experience. So again, we talked about last year and what it was. Now this year, expectations are a lot different. There's no more babying you guys. You don't have to learn what it is. You know what it was to play varsity football. You had an off season. You're a year more mature. You're a year smarter.
Right.
You're stronger. So now, go win football games. There's no more making excuses. Go win football games.
Coach, we talk about stars, and I'm using that word loosely a little bit, but guys who are in the newspaper and all of a sudden they get looked at as stars. But your good programs have your role players or your program players, guys that you just mentioned. You need more of them around those other guys like a Hubbard, a D'Alessandro, a Man. And you have it. You said it. The kid Bigelow, oh my God, he's a battering ramp. Like, he wants to hit, and he's making somebody look good because somebody's running the ball behind him, or he's knocking a guard off his tail.
You got Aiden Sweeney behind him, who is just again, you want to talk about physical kid. He's going to run hard. He's going to run physical. Yeah. He's put on a ton of weight. He's ready for a breakout season. Those guys. We are excited. So there's a lot of good things happening. There's a lot of excitement in our youth throughout AYF. Jackson AYF does a great job. We have a great relationship with them. Our freshman is one of the more talented freshman classes we've had in a long time. So, this is what we want. The ball is rolling in the right direction. Now it's up to the seniors to continue to show the right ways to do things. Make sure you're leading. Make sure you don't, lose track of our path. Because now it's on the coaches and the seniors to make sure this train goes in the right direction.
Yeah, you got a lot of things in place. No different than any other year. You had a little bump last year, and you avoided all those bumps in the years past, but it caught up with you. You were in a very tough division, lost a couple close games, key players injured, but you got them back now, and you got them back. You have experience, so hopefully the youth can learn from those kids with experience, and better days are ahead, Coach. My money's on that with you guys.
And we hope so, and I think we proved a lot by winning our last 3 games of the year last year. So these kids figured it out late. They matured, whether they were ready or not, and now we're excited for 2022.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Pleasure.
Thank you for having me,
Pleasure talking Jackson football.
We appreciate you being a friend of the program. We appreciate all you're doing for high school football in New Jersey and the Shore Conference. This is the Coach Davis hype up video, but really, honestly, you're doing a great job. Excited about what you have this year in store, and we'll be watching.
I thought of this. I should write out what I want you guys to say and send it to you and say, just read off the script.
Don't lie, Coach. I'm reading right from your script. Don't.
All right, cut. But I appreciate it. I enjoy doing what I'm doing because there's a lot of great things out there. There's a lot of stories out there. There's so many great stories, great football programs, great players, great coaches. Fans have been great. It's just great. It really is. And watching it from the other side, what I'm doing right now, I really enjoy it.
Good.
I really well.
Good. That's where it comes from.
I'll tell you,
It's proven and it shows.
my one of my, the head coach at Barnegat was messaging me. He messaged me at 9 o'clock. I just told him, I said, "Hey, you woke me up." He's like, "What? You know, when you're a coach, you're waking up 6." I go, "I'm a reporter now. I was up to 4 in the morning, trying to make it look good for the next day." I do
Absolutely.
those things, but
that sleep schedule's a little out of whack now.
it's crazy. The demand everybody wants. When is this coverage coming out? When are you doing this? What is that? Why is that guy rated higher than him? 2 spot. I love it. I love it. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun, and we'll meet up some places where you have big games, which I know you have a lot of big games. We'll be catching Scott and I will be catching a scrimmage or one of your practices. I think you guys are gonna probably want to see Scott Stump live because get his juices going too, and it'd be good for football. A lot of good things happening, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, good stuff.
You need anything, you let me know.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. All right, now we got 3 outstanding football players from Jackson and even better people off the field. Well, that's what I hear. All right. Coach Mistretta speaks very highly of you guys. I want to thank you for coming on our high school football preview show.
Thanks, right. Coach.
Good.
Thank you.
Let me introduce you, and then let's get right into the questions because I got 5. I got 5 questions. When you answer it, I know everything about your football program that I need to know. And I already like what I already know now, but these 5 questions will solidify everything with the Jackson football team. So let me introduce you guys. To the top left, we have the senior outstanding quarterback and cornerback, Ty Mann. Ty, thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
Up top, we have Aiden Swinney, the bruising running back, outside linebacker. Aiden, thank you.
Thank you.
And down below, we have the offensive guard, defensive tackle, senior Ryan Fisher. Guys, thanks. Let's get right into it because I got these questions. I couldn't sleep last night because I need to know what's going on with your program. You ready?
Ready.
Who is the funniest dude in your football program? Number 1. I need to know who makes you guys laugh. Who gives Coach Mistretta, smiling at practice? What football player keeps it chill? And Ty, I'm going to start with you because you got this smile on your face that you want to tell us who it is. Who's that dude? And it could be multiple.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of them. We got a lot of funny guys in our team. First one that comes to mind is probably Jaden Hernandez. He's just a clown, but he's a good football player. But he's
Jaden Hernandez.
Yeah.
Yep, the safe. Yep, good.
Yeah.
All right, you agree? So he's the top dog. He's the guy to.
That's the thing. We got a lot of funny kids.
That was the first person to come to my mind, Jaden, right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Fisher over there is smiling big time. I think there's a lineman that makes people laugh too. Who is that dude?
There's just so many everybody on the line just makes me laugh. It's awesome.
Probably Zach O'Fashionay.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't think about it, but it's good to know there are guys out there that keep you guys, chilled with all the pressure out there that people give, us football guys. Sometimes it's good to sit back and laugh and smile at your teammates in a good way,
Yeah.
right? Good. All right, good. So there's a bunch of dudes that are funny on the team. Duly noted. Number 2, leaders. Who are the leaders? When Coach Mistretta has something to spread to the whole program, who shoots out text messages, group messages, tickety talk, whatever you call it? Who spreads it out to the team? Who are the leaders?
I would say most of the seniors we're all pretty good leaders, like
Right.
us three.
Yeah.
Some other ones that aren't here, probably Mike Cipriano.
Mike comes to mind.
Yeah.
I would say us 3, Mike Cipriano. Definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it just makes things a lot easier for coaches when you guys are spreading the word too. So it's not just on deaf ears. You guys are saying what needs to be done, and then you bring the guys to the field with all the information that the coach wanted. So it just makes things a lot better. When your players take ownership like that, you have a better team. Number 3, getting back to normal. No more of this. You know what that is? It's a mask. We ain't going to wear a mask no more. No more pod talk. Tell me, how great was it to be back to normal in the weight room and your whole off season this year with your guys? Aiden.
I think it means a lot because I think a good portion of us were hurt by it during the football season last year. We had kids quarantined, and that kind of contributed to the record that we didn't really want. But I think it's exciting to be back this year, not having to worry about that, and going into the season definitely healthy, a lot healthier than last year. So
Ty?
Yeah, I agree with Aiden. I mean, the whole dynamic last year, and even 2 years ago, we didn't have a great season, and I think definitely COVID definitely did contribute to that. And I mean, it feels great just to be back and not have to worry about that. It really does feel great.
Cool. Rye?
Yeah, no. One of the things that I like now is we can work with the younger kids now. Like last year, we couldn't work with any of the freshmen; they were separated.
Right.
The COVID time, but now we could work with all of them and get them better.
Now, you guys are elite players in terms of the county. Did you go to any camps, football camps?
I know I went to the Shore's Best Camp. That was fun.
I know, and I saw you there too. Ty, were you there?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't there? Ryan, you were there.
Yeah, it was
okay. There were no restrictions there. I just was wondering if you went to the college camps, if they made you like do temperature checks and masks and all that too. But we're basically back to normal. Knock on wood, cautiously too, across the world. Right? Good. 4, expectations. I don't want to hear it from a coach. I want to hear it from you guys. And we talked before we turned it on, and I want to hear it out on when we're talking now. What are the expectations in your locker room with the players, not the coaches, with the players? Ty?
Win. We're just going to win.
Good.
I like that. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Ryan?
I just want to beat some kids up. That's my goal.
Oh, okay, good. I'm on your side. Remember that now. All right, good. Aiden?
Yeah, definitely come back better than last year. Main goal, win above everything else. So.
Yeah, you were saying you had a bitter taste from last year. No excuses because you had a lot of guys out because of all the different reasons. And like Coach would tell you, your record is your record, but you're ready to flip it around, right?
Definitely.
Last thing, tell everybody. This is the last thing I need to know. Tell everybody why is it so special to be playing at Jackson under Coach Mistretta. Tell me why. Ryan, start it off.
I mean, he's just a guy you can get behind. Like if you have a coach that you don't believe in, you're not gonna follow him. But I think we all believe in Mistretta, and we all will follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Good, Aiden.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and it's good. He listens to the players too.
Good.
It's not like he shuns us out and like goes by his own thing. He really does listen to us if we have something to say. So that's definitely a good reason why we can get behind him. So.
Yeah, Ty, end it with you.
Yeah, Coach Mistretta, I mean, I've built a great relationship with him over the past 3 to 4 years. He's a great coach, and he's a great person, and he's probably the best leader that I've ever been around. I mean, the program that he's built here at Jackson Memorial is just special.
I agree. From the outside looking in, I know Coach Mistretta, being a coach with him through the years, and really has a lot of pride with Jackson, takes care of his program, and you know that. Behind the scenes, he does it, and you probably wouldn't realize it, but he's always fighting for you guys in terms of all-star teams or fighting for, the betterment of Jackson football. It really is. I respect the guy a lot, and he's a true leader. He really is, and you should be proud. And Jackson's a winner for a reason. Leadership, consistency, tradition never graduates, gentlemen. Remember that, right? Seniors graduate, but tradition doesn't graduate, and you guys got tradition. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. This will be out tomorrow. Make sure you pump it out and spread the word and be proud of your football program because I'm proud to be here with you guys. All right?
All right.
You guys be good. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Appreciate it. Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report.